everybody. Welcome to Cartoon Boom! This is your show where we wake by the Saturday morning sun, plopped on the floor with big gold sugary here and watch our favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm your mechanical cyborg police officer who has no idea what he's doing, Joseph.
And I'm a dog with severe anxiety disguised as a duck. My name's Chris.
And this morning we watched Inspector Gadget. That is one of those theme songs that will never leave my brain, ever.
Oh, I know. No pun intended, though, when you say brain?
Nah,
or pun intended?
No. Well, no pun intended. Accidental pun succeeded, though.
Succeeded. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, this is never the same thing. Soon as those police sirens start, it's just like,
yeah.
Bow, 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 bow.
That's all you have to do is play those sirens in that specific tone, and I'll know exactly what it is. You don't even have to play the part. Like, just play the sirens. I'll know it's Inspector Gadget sirens. It's so distinctive.
Yeah, when I told Rochelle what we were going to do, I had her guess what we were going to watch. And she was like, okay, which one? And I go, bam, 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 bam. And she's like, oh, Inspector Gadget.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, it's all required.
Universal knowledge if you were born in the 90s and prior. I don't know about the 2000 babies.
Yeah, I don't know about you babies out there. Hey, babies, can you leave a comment if you have if you know words yet? Leave us comments and let us know if you remember this show.
Yeah, babies, can you slide into our DMs or whatever it is you do now and
tell please us... don't take that out of context. Oh man,
just tell us whether or not you know what Inspector Gadget is. That's all I'm asking.
This has gone real wrong.
No.
But hey, sorry for the gap week there. After 2 years of successfully hiding ourselves away like Chief Quimby, the plague, the COVID finally caught us both.
Yeah,
unawares.
That COVID that was going to self-destruct got thrown right back into our trash bin, and we both got it simultaneously, even though we live on opposite sides of the country. It is so strange. I don't know how this happened, but it did.
We got that weird twin thing going on.
Yeah, that's
that
really
we always get.
I really hate that part of it, though. Like, it's fun otherwise, but I do hate that we both got COVID.
Yeah, it was like I was not feeling that great for like a day or two, but I didn't think it was COVID.
No, I thought you were in the clear. I tested positive, so I was like, man, I'm down for the count. But it seemed like you just had like a cold or something.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be a cold. And then when you said that you tested positive, that's when I was like, oh no. Because I started thinking about our weird twin power we have. And then I was like, okay, I think I'll be okay. And then the next day I lost my taste and smell. And I was like, oh, that's what you get for thinking. If you had tested negative, I probably would have been fine.
Probably. So I'm very sorry. I don't know.
It's your fault.
I didn't mean to give it to you from across the country, but somehow I did.
Yeah.
Twin powers activated. But we're better now. We've both been vaccinated, so we didn't take the full brunt of it, fortunately.
Yes.
And we're good. We're still recovering slightly, I guess. Like, your throat's still recovering a little bit, and mine is as well. So we may not be as loud this episode as we sometimes get, but we'll be fine moving forward.
We'll be just as dumb, just maybe not as loud about.
Equally dumb, maybe less loud. So, I mean, this might be a better episode for everyone. Who knows?
Yeah, you might hear me start getting more and more hoarse and quiet as the episode goes. We'll see.
Right. So who suggested this to us?
This was suggested to us by Travis W. via email. So thank you very much, Travis.
Thanks, Travis. So the show Inspector Gadget aired from 1983 to 1986, created by Bruno Bianchi, not sure, Andy Hayward, and Gene Chalopin, directed by Bruno Bianchi, produced by Deke, Nelvana for season 1, and Field Communications for season 1. This ran for 2 seasons, 86 episodes. Originally, it was a first-run syndication in the U.S. and played on the FR3 channel in France, which I guess is just France 3.
France 3? Yeah, sure.
France 3.
Makes sense.
For a short synopsis, a bumbling bionic police inspector stumbles about on his cases while his niece and dog secretly do the real investigative work.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Very accurate.
Do we not have inspectors in the U.S.? I don't know if we do.
Is that the same as detectives?
That's why I wonder. I'm not sure.
I'm not as familiar. I
know.
know we don't have cyborg detectives or inspectors for
Well,
sure.
at least not any that we're aware of.
Oh, true. We might have RoboCops.
Well, yeah, we've got those ones that now they roll around inside of shopping malls.
Oh,
and
the ones that are
outside,
like little
on the-
boxes. Yeah, those suck.
Yeah, and people are always kicking them off of the curbs.
Yeah, and they try to go up escalators and fail.
And they get stuck. Yeah. So we do have RoboCops.
And I guess they're about as useful as Inspector
They're
Gadget.
not as cool. Yeah. They're not super cool.
No. So
who would have thought, we would hit the future, we would get robot cops, but they would be so lame that teenagers would just kick them over.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I do want to point out, since we're talking about the future, that George Jetson's birthday was last week. I think it was July 31st. I might be wrong, but
and we don't have flying cars yet.
No, but I don't know if we had flying cars when he was a baby.
That's
so
true.
maybe we'll evolve to that point where we're living in the skylines on an alternate Earth or whatever with robot maids and wives who steal our wallets.
I just feel like we're really letting the future down the way things are going.
Oh, the future is at the point where it's not mad at us. It's just disappointed.
Yeah, because I mean, the Transformers movie happened in 2005.
Oh,
and I haven't seen a Transformer. I've seen those dog robots, those videos every once in a while, where it's they run around and you always see somebody kick it and then it gets itself back up. But that's all it does.
I feel like the furthest we've gotten to something like that is in Japan, where they've had mobile Gundam suits, basically not fully mobile yet, but they've at least been able to move based on movement of whoever is controlling them. So we're getting there.
Japan's doing it.
Well, Japan's getting there. Japan's way ahead of us always anyway. So maybe we'll catch up eventually.
We just need to. I'm gonna move to Japan. I want to be a Gundam pilot. This sucks.
Let's do it.
Yeah, our country's not doing it right.
No, of course not. Well, back to this show. Who are some of the actors who played in Inspector Gadget?
So Inspector Gadget himself was voiced by Don Adams, who is best well known as playing Agent Maxwell Smart in the TV series Get Smart, which I don't know if you ever watched that. I used to watch it as a kid, back when they would do TV Land, Nick at Night style.
Right. Yeah.
And it's pretty fun. It was what a perfect role for him to voice over. I can't imagine a different voice for that character because it just fits so well. Because both characters are very, I guess, similar.
Yeah, this is basically Don Adams doing Maxwell Smart in animated form.
Yeah, basically. He's another, law enforcement sort of dude who's a bumbling just goofball. So it's basically the same sort of character. I love it. It's perfect. The voice of Penny was done by a few different people. So the pilot episode, Penny was voiced by Mona Marshall. Just for the pilot, that was it. Then she was voiced by Cree Summer for season 1, maybe part of season 2, about 1983 through 84. And then it was the role was taken over by Holly Berger during 1985. The voices of Brain, Dr. Claw, and Mad Cat, done by Frank Welker, someone we talk about all the time. However, Dr. Claw was voiced by one other person in only one episode of the show. That episode was Magic Gadget, which we almost did. It was one that was suggested, but we went with a different one. Christopher Collins voiced Dr. Claw in that episode, but is uncredited. And this is what's fun. So Frank Welker, among all the billion things he's known for voicing, one of them is Megatron from Transformers. Christopher Collins was known for voicing Starscream in Transformers. So just a fun little...
always at odds with each other.
Yeah, so just a fun little thing that he got to take the role for just one episode. Kind of like Starscream, for one episode of Transformers, might get to take over and then has to lose the role again. You know, it's that sort of thing.
Or be destroyed by Galvatron, whatever the case.
Gets melted. And then our last character here, Chief Quimby, for the pilot only, voiced by John Stevenson, who funnily enough also was the voice of a Transformer. I want to say Thundercracker, but I might be wrong. Then voiced by Dan Hennessy from 83 to 84. That's the voice that we would mostly think of. In all the episodes we watched for today, we heard Cree Summer as Penny, Dan Hennessy as Chief Quimby. And then Maurice LaMarche took over the role in 1985. So I don't know what happened in 85 that two of them got recast, but it is what it is.
And for a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Inspector Gadget cereal, this is the first cartoon show to be syndicated by Deke, who specifically created the series to help expand into the North American market, and the first animated series to be presented in stereo sound.
Deke.
Can I tell you what Deke stood for? Because I had to look it up because I was curious. But let me tell you, and I'll tell you how catchy it is.
Tell me, because like when I was a kid, if they wouldn't have said Deke out loud every time they showed the logo, I would have said something else.
Well, of course. Yeah. I mean, that's why they say this. We're like, Deke. By the way, Deke. Okay.
Deke.
So Deke is diffusion, information, communications. Doesn't it just roll right off the tongue?
What?
Diffusion,
why?
Comma, information, communications. I don't know.
That's a bad name.
Yeah. But Deke is at least more memorable. I don't know.
That's a really bad name. Okay.
It was formed in France, so it's a France thing. I don't know. Their channel was France 3, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, they need some more creative hats over there.
So, okay, part of the project's existence was to recoup the cost incurred by Deke and TMS Entertainment when a planned collaboration, a spinoff of Lupin III called Lupin 8, was canceled due to financial disputes with the estate of Arsène Lupin creator Maurice LeBlanc. So they kind of were forced to make this to make up for the costs they lost in that Lupin the Third dispute.
Man, what happened to 4 through 7? That they were just going to go from Lupin the Third to Lupin 8?
I don't know. Maybe it would have covered some background in there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if they had gone numerically, they wouldn't have had that big problem. But, you know, it is what it is.
I'm sure that's what the problem was.
Yeah, that was the confusion.
Maurice LeBlanc was just upset that they couldn't do math. According to the DVD bonus film Wowzers, a retrospective featurette with co-creators Andy Hayward and Mike Maliani on the 4-disc DVD set Inspector Gadget, the original series, Gadget went through approximately 350 sketches before reaching his final design. Gadget's design also included a mustache in the pilot before it was dropped for the rest of the series, due to Deke being sued by MGM as a character looked too similar to Inspector Clouseau from the Pink Panther series.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's what I was wondering, because I knew that the pilot came out and I knew that they had made a lot of changes because they had changed his look and they also changed some of the cast as well. Hence why when I was reading the cast, I was like, pilot only.
Right. Also why we did not cover the pilot in this episode, which I want to point out before we get there. Don Franks, who voiced Dr. Claw in several season 1 episodes, asked the producers if his daughter, Cree Summer, could audition for Penny, and that became her first acting role.
Interesting. I didn't see his name pop up when I was looking at cast info. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It says several season 1 episodes. I didn't verify this, so I'm not certain. But I guess that is her father. I did check that. And so I guess that's how she got into this role. Well,
yeah, I know her name is technically Cree Summer Franks, I believe. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Dr. Claw's face was never shown throughout the entire run of the show, although his cartoon face was finally revealed via the action figure release. Did you see that?
Oh,
have you looked at that one? Yeah.
No, hang on.
I don't know if I want you to, though. Like, maybe keep that mystique for yourself.
No, I want to know. Is it bad?
You're going to be disappointed, I think.
How bad is it?
I don't think it's like the worst thing ever, but it kind of... Okay, so you've seen it now.
Ew!
It ruins the mystique of what you imagine behind that voice, right? That does not look like someone using that voice.
No, this can't be. This can't be Dr. Claw.
This is like he's like a knockoff of Old Man Logan, kind of.
Like that's being generous. He looks like this might be just because I've been playing a whole lot of Ace Attorney lately. He just looks like his face just looks like a generic angry Ace Attorney character.
Objection.
Objection. He looks like just an angry old boomer. Just
Yeah.
a normal, angry old boomer, man.
You know, that is one of those instances. The other one that I can think of is Destro from G.I. Joe, where it's like you never see their
Yeah.
face, and then this toy reveals it, and you're like, man, I wish
Oh.
I'd still never seen their face.
Why is he cross-eyed?
Because Destro had a one of those like large scale figures that you could take his mask up, I think, or change his head out or something. You could see his face, but it's like, I want to go back to just the metallic
I
face.
don't think I've ever seen Destro's face either. I've only seen the metallic.
Well, look that up. Be disappointed twice in one episode.
Should I do it? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
do
do it. Oh man. I'm so disappointed right now.
I know. I'm ruining your childhood right now on air.
Okay, I'm seeing stuff from the movie, which we already knew was terrible. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
No.
I see it now. The 1993 one.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Isn't that disappointing?
You know what? This looks better than Dr. Claw, though.
That's fair. Well, what if this face was on Dr. Claw's body? Would that be better?
I would have accepted Unmasked Destro's face for Dr. Claw. Dr. Claw looks terrible. This is weird. I don't like it for Destro, but if this was Dr. Claw, I would have been like, yeah, I could see it. I could kind of see it.
For Destro, what I would love is if it was some kind of like really disfigured, like scarred face from some kind of like battle. That's what I was expecting. But this is just like generic white man face.
Yeah.
With flat top. Like, why? Why even wear the mask?
The flat top. Yeah. Why do bad guys always have flat tops?
Flat tops are just evil, I guess. I mean, ask the Dick Tracy character, flat top.
Well, that's a real good point. Okay.
All right.
Why didn't they just give Dr. Claw a mask? I always pictured him with a mask.
Yeah, that's what I did too, actually. And that's what I was thinking. Like, he would have some kind of interesting mask, either covering his whole face, like in a Snake Eyes fashion, or covering part of his face. And I was almost thinking, like, almost radicalized, like the villain from Battle of the Planets.
Yeah.
Where it's like some extreme kind of mask. I just wanted something more evil from this guy and not just like generic old white man.
Ugh.
Like, why even have that cool claw if you aren't going to wear a cool, like, mask to match it?
Yeah, he just has these random gauntlets with, like, goth spike bracelets.
Yeah. Yeah.
For no reason. Like, he's got armored gauntlets for no reason, because that's the only metal he's got on his body.
Right. Yeah. So it's almost like that's why they didn't call him Dr. Mask, because he's like, well, all he's got is his claw, really. I don't know.
This is terrible.
All right, moving forward. Okay, real quick, pause. I want to say to everybody, if you're not driving, look up these things real quick if you haven't already, and be disappointed with us, and or never look it up and just imagine it's way better than we've described it.
I'm
All right.
hurt.
Inspector Gadget was influenced by the spy comedy Get Smart from 1965, as well as the crime-fighting gadget shows Dynamite Dog Wonder from 1976 and The $6 Million Man from 1974. Some references to Get Smart are the basic plot of an inept agent going up against a malevolent criminal agency with anonymous help from his close friends. The opening sequence has Gadget going through many doors to meet Chief Quimby, which Maxwell Smart did in Get Smart's opening sequence. So the opening sequence match in that way. And Don Adams reused some Get Smart catchphrases for Gadget's character. These include, "Would you believe?" and "Sorry about that, Chief."
No, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So there's a lot of like carryovers from that. And it's like, it kind of makes sense since they are very similar characters. Why not sell it as such?
Yeah, I like that. I like that there was some like crossover there.
Yeah, like subtle crossovers. So that was really cool. So let's go ahead and start talking about the episodes we watched for today's show. The first one being Monster Lake, season 1, episode 1, not including the pilot. In Scotland, Gadget searches for a missing scientist who vanished near Loch Ness that is supposed to harbor a monster.
That is true.
The Loch Ness monster, in fact.
Yeah. I don't think they ever even referred to it as Nessie or the Loch Ness monster, though.
They did not. They called out Loch Ness and they called out the monster, but never in the same sentence.
Yeah.
Or never like as a single term. Yeah.
Huh.
Okay, something I wanted to point out right off the bat, because I fell down a rabbit hole when I was watching this episode immediately. One of the first things they mentioned, because Penny's like, oh, Scotland's beautiful. And Gadget's like, yeah, it is. And it's also where they make Scotch tape. And then I was like, do they make Scotch tape there? And so I looked it up. No, hold on. This is important. The brand name Scotch came about when Richard Drew, a Minnesotan 3M engineer, was testing his first masking tape to determine how much adhesive he needed to add. The body shop painter became frustrated with the sample masking tape and exclaimed, take this tape back to those Scotch bosses of yours and tell them to put more adhesive on it. And the name was soon applied to the entire line of 3M tapes. So Scotch tape basically gained its name based off of old-fashioned casual racism about the Scots being cheapskates.
Oh my God.
I just wanted to point it out. So everybody knew,
ridiculous.
It did not originate in Scotland. It was just named after the Scots because of their supposed being cheapskates, but it still retains that name, which is interesting.
I did apply for a job with 3M one time.
Yeah, their headquarters is in Minnesota, isn't it?
Yeah, they're one of our biggest employers out here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I didn't get the job.
Oh. You could have made some Scotch tape too.
I know.
That was an aside, but something I wanted to bring up because I thought it was funny and I was curious.
Yeah. So they show up and they're driving around, and in typical fashion, Gadget is the one driving the car and gets distracted by looking at his map and not paying attention to the road. This happens a lot. He always pulls out a map and stares at the map and just completely stops watching where he's going and just crashes or drives off of roads or cliffs or anything. It happens all the time. He ends up in a pasture, like just surrounded by sheep. And what I love about this, though, is just, the running gag of Chief Quimby always shows up in disguise somewhere. And it always happens to be like where Gadget is. So Chief Quimby shows up. He's in the pasture dressed as a sheep. And that really got me. I was cracking up when that happened. Like, I kind of figured it was coming, but just because, I'm so familiar with the plot devices of this show in particular. But like, if it was the first time watching it, I would have been like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So good.
Just like every episode, Quimby gives Gadget a message to tell him what his mission is right now. And it's usually always something to do with Dr. Claw and stopping him from whatever in the specific place that they happen to be. In this case, he needs to get or protect Professor Fumpkin from Claw. And that's essentially now what Gadget is trying to do, is first find Professor Fumpkin and then protect him from Claw. Oh, and the message will always self-destruct. And Gadget is completely oblivious to this and always throws it, like he crumbles it up and throws it back to the chief. Like if he is in a trash can or something, it'll just end up in that trash can with him. So he's always getting like blown up by his little messages.
He always gets injured.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, he's always having to try to stop something that Dr. Claw and MAD, which is Dr. Claw's organization, is doing. Did we say what MAD stands for yet?
I don't know what it stands for. I didn't look it up.
Oh, it's Malevolent Criminal Organization. Oh, it's a Malevolent Criminal Organization. I'm trying to see.
Where's the D?
That's a real good point. Now I don't know. I was just looking it up and I'm like, wait, there's no
Criminal
D.
Organization is just MCO.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Hang it. Okay. Found it. Malevolent Agency of Destruction.
Oh, that's much cooler. Okay.
So yeah, it consists of Dr. Claw, Mad Cat, which is Dr. Claw's pet cat that often gets injured because Dr. Claw always gets mad and then punches his desk really hard and scares Mad Cat, or sometimes he accidentally slams his fist onto Mad Cat.
Yeah, and so Mad Cat is basically the cat form of Muttley, because he's always got that little like laugh where he's like a wheezing laugh and just sitting by Dr. Claw's side and getting pets as he goes about his business.
Can you imagine this, like how ridiculous this is though? Because the logo for his entire organization for MAD is a cat face. And I'm just thinking about, like, he's so obsessed with his cat that he made his cat the symbol for his terrorist cell, basically. Like, can you imagine if, like, I don't know, like a terrorist organization out there like their little chihuahua face as their logo. Like, is that really going to strike fear into the hearts of people?
Maybe you're thinking too small scale, though. What if Dr. Claw is just a big fan of Mad Catz controllers, and that's why he named it as such?
Oh, yeah. It does have that auto fire button I used to use for Star Fox 64 a lot.
Yeah. It's like these are controllers made for cheating, but also made to break down easily. So it's like whatever.
Tear stuff up for the 2 days that controller worked.
Right.
Man, yeah. So yeah, he is told that he needs to find and protect this professor who has a mobile lab that is going to be looking for the lake monster out there of the lock. But lo and behold, before Gadget can locate him, he's already been seized and gone missing. So most of this episode is Gadget trying to find this guy and having no luck because Gadget, as we talked about, is kind of an idiot while Brian and Penny do the work.
His logic coming into it is, where would I go if I were hiding? I would want to be up high. And maybe he's hiding in these trees. And so then he just starts climbing trees looking for the professor hiding up there.
Exactly. So like for like so long in this episode, he's searching up a tree. Oh man, that's so funny.
The plot device always involves like him separating himself from Penny, like supposedly to protect her, keep her safe. So he just tells her to like head to the hotel. But instead, she is setting up like a side project to really solve this case without his or Chief Quimby's knowledge. And then Brain's job is to protect Gadget from himself, essentially.
Yeah. So Penny really is the smarts and the ringleader of the whole operation here as far as Gadget and allies go. Penny does it all. She is the one that actually knows how to use all the equipment, who knows how to investigate, who knows how to follow clues, who knows how to read a crime scene and investigate and do everything essentially, and knows that Gadget is going to get himself into trouble. So she always sends Brain to keep him from basically killing himself or getting captured. Yeah, Brain's job is usually just that.
Right, and to disguise himself, but he's usually mistaken for a henchman of Claw, or of Mad.
Yes.
And so he is then attacked by Gadget almost every episode, that's where like hilarity ensues on the side while Penny is solving these cases.
Right. So another gag that was kind of fun in this one was when Gadget gets in his car and he means to just drive to a different location, but he just drives himself straight into the lake.
Yeah.
And doesn't realize it. He just thinks it rained.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know rain was on the forecast. Yeah.
Yeah. So Brain panics and has to get like a scuba suit and stuff and like get in there and make sure he's not dead. Basically.
And then during this scene, that's when the Loch Ness Monster, the mechanical Loch Ness Monster machine that's under Claw's control, starts chasing after them both, or starts chasing Gadget, and then Brain is, chasing after him to try to save him from this machine. And this is when Penny has a realization that, this is not the real Loch Ness Monster, because the real Loch Ness Monster, as far as I'm aware, doesn't have tank treads. So I think it's a robot. Why she couldn't see that from just the face alone, I don't know. It's whatever. But she finally gets it. And then she's like, it must be Claws. So she's putting two and two together and then is trying to help Gadget. But he not even inadvertently, he kind of like intentionally goes into this thing's mouth, not knowing what it is.
He thinks it's a cave.
That's right. And
just walks right in.
And then to go and find the professor, which he does because the professor is also in this beast belly. But then he's like, how are we going to get out now? And that's where a lot of it is like him trying to find a way out. And then I'm trying to remember what happens after this, like when he's inside and how they end up getting out.
Well, basically, because he is a cyborg man, he tries to shoot the door with this like little laser finger he's got. That bounces all over the room and blasts a hole all over the place. He sees some gears. He tries to stop
yeah.
the gears, but he gets all tangled up because he's a doofus and gets trapped there. But Brain and Penny, after Penny realizes this is a machine, they jump on top of the machine while it's going because it starts going hang wire because of what Gadget did. They jump on top of it. Penny crawls into basically the control room and just shuts everything down from the inside.
Yeah, because it's essentially built like a sub. So she goes into the hatch on top, turns it off, and then that's when Quimby shows back up and is like, Gadget, you're a hero. You've done it again. And he just assumes he has. He's like, yep, it was all me. And
what I love about that too is he's carrying the professor out. And this is like, the end of this 20-something minute episode. Then he turns around and it's the very first time he finally notices
that it's a monster.
The machine. Yeah, he never notices the monster until then and he gets scared.
Yeah. The professor then runs away from him because he knows he's a walking hazard. He's the humanoid typhoon. Yeah, professor runs, episode ends. Then we cut to a PSA, which is also something every episode has. This one is don't swim out in lakes too far. Like always be safe at lakes, basically. Don't drown. Yeah, and then Gadget freaks out over monsters in lakes, and that's really the end of that.
Yeah, it's fun. I like these old 80s and 90s cartoons that have PSAs.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
You know what? To its credit, Inspector Gadget had some of the better PSAs because they were never so serious that they couldn't have fun. And there was always a little gag tied into them, unlike like He-Man's, which was like super serious. And it's
or
like
G.I.
really
Joe.
got down to it. Yeah, or G.I. Joe's. Like knowing is half the battle, whatever. And this one, it's just like, here's the thing, here's the important parts, and then here's a joke to lead us out. So they did it well. The second episode we watched for today's show was Haunted Castle, season 1, episode 8. And in this one, Dr. Claw tries to sabotage a crime fighters convention held at Count Dracula's home in Transylvania. And this one was the highest rated one, correct?
That is correct.
So this one was pretty cool. I kind of get why it was the highest rated one, especially from someone like me, because it did involve Universal Studio monsters to some degree, at least.
Yeah, this one was pretty interesting right off the bat because like there's just all this like creepy imagery, like really, really closely because they're in Transylvania. It's Gadget driving Penny and Brain as per the usual. But driving into Transylvania, he's going to a crime fighting conference at the Skull Inn, where all these other inspectors are supposed to show up for this conference. They're arriving a little bit early to meet the chief. And this like creepy Igor dude answers the door and they walk in. And this is where it got me. And I thought this was great. I thought, okay, it's Gadget. He totally went to the wrong place. That's totally what's going to happen. Nope, the Igor dude like pops in half and Chief Quimby crawls out of him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, Chief Quimby's appearances are some of the highlights of these episodes just because you always know it's coming, but you never necessarily know when it's going to.
It's pretty good.
And it comes out in unique ways. It's strange that they're having this police conference in Transylvania, first of all, but secondly, Dracula's castle is there, and this happens to be where Claw is holding up. He's like made a base there so that he can basically interfere with the law enforcement convention. And that's what the message that Gadget gets is before it self-destructs inside of the Hunchback.
Yeah, basically like Gadget has to stop Dr. Claw and Mad from interfering because they're about to have like, inspectors from all over the world here at this convention. So they got to make sure that Claw is, stopped from interfering and, all that kind of stuff. And he starts talking about locals saying weird things were happening around Dracula's castle, that, there hasn't been anything going on for forever. And then the last couple of weeks, all of a sudden people are seeing stuff. And like, what I like about this too is Inspector Gadget immediately dismisses it as like, no, it's just them being superstition. Claw wouldn't use that as a base because it's too obvious.
Yeah.
And instead, he has like a little pamphlet about touring Dracula's castle. So he's going there not even to look for Dr. Claw. He's going there specifically as a tourist because he thinks it'll be cool. And like even on the way there, like all these traps are springing up like on the road all around him, like trying to kill him. And he just keeps like, he's just like, oh, someone needs to take care of these roads.
Yeah. Or he thinks it's just part of the attraction. Like he sees the one of the Dr. Claw's henchmen, like
dressed as a vampire.
Dressed as a vampire. He beats up a guard to dress himself as the guard and then locks the guard in this like little like place beside
in the guard
him
shack.
In this little guard shack. And then while this henchman is talking to Gadget and trying to like ask him where he's going, etc., like the guard breaks out of the guard shack, and instead of like trying to help him, Inspector Gadget just thinks it's part of the attraction. He's like, "Ooh, really spooky. Good job." And
yeah, I know. The guy's literally like crawling for his life towards the car, and he's just like, "Oh, that's pretty good."
Yeah. And so we get a lot of that. Then it turns into them actually going into the castle, and Mad Cat gives Claw an idea where it's like, hey, really, he doesn't say it, obviously, because he can't speak, but he is like inferring to Dr. Claw to just lead Gadget up to the tower that they're in, even though Claw's like, are you sure that's not too obvious? And he's like, eh. And so eventually it's his idea. Like he rolls down this little ball in front of Gadget that has like a Mad logo on it, because that is like obvious enough for Gadget to be like, okay, I think this is connected to Claw in some way or to Mad in some way.
But he does it in the dumbest way, because instead of just being like, oh, you know, this is their base, he's just like, huh, Mad must have a tennis court upstairs.
Yeah. And this is the point where he separates himself from Penny and Brain, because that's every episode. So he's like, you guys stay down here, or, you know, go back to the hotel or whatever. I'm going to go investigate. And so this is the point where Penny starts to solve the case, sends Brain to help him, and antics ensue.
Brain, has to do the usual of protecting him. But Brain, we've mentioned before, Brain is very anxious and very scared.
Yeah, he's a skittish little dog.
Yeah, so like at one point, this cloth falls on him and scares him so bad that he just starts running and then knocks into Gadget and knocks him like through a door. But like in typical fashion for this show, there is a trap ready on the other side of this door with the Mad henchman there ready to go. But because Brain knocked into Gadget, him and Gadget both like skip over the trap. And even though they almost fall to their deaths, they get back up and are fine. And instead, the trap ends up being sprung on the Mad agent, who gets like flung off of the castle.
Yeah, it's like a giant fly swatter that flings him into the moat of the castle.
Yeah, it's very typical.
Oh, yeah. It's like these are all set up in very Roadrunner Coyote type fashions, where it's like, if Mad is the coyote, then Inspector Gadget is he's a more clueless Roadrunner. Like his is just like dumb luck most of the time. Like that's how he avoids these traps. For instance, in the last episode with the Loch Ness Monster, he finds a stick on the ground. He's like, oh, hey, like an authentic Scottish walking stick. And he leans down and avoids like the monster and then throws the stick backwards, which then jars the monster's mouth open to keep it from closing down on him, even though he's completely unaware it's there.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's all just like dumb luck, but that's just part of the charm and humor of his character.
Yep. It's like he always succeeds, and it's always just purely by luck or because Brain and Penny are looking out for him.
Absolutely. Penny goes down to the basement and is trying to contact Brain because like she realizes that there's a secret passageway down there. And that's when she gets ambushed by a shadowy figure that we don't get to see yet. Then when Brain goes down to the basement or takes Gadget down there to try to find Penny, that's when he starts to encounter the rest of Claw's henchmen that are also dressed up like monsters. One is Frankenstein's monster and the other is the Wolfman. Even though like the Wolfman one is like exclaiming to Claw, he's like, oh, it's scary down here. Like, do I have to stay down here?
I'm squeamish.
And Claw's like, yes, like just like surround them or whatever. And so, they go down there. Ultimately, Brain ends up going into a room where a piece of armor falls on his the helmet to a knight's armor falls on his head. And he runs out, like freaking out as he does, which scares the henchmen because they think he's some kind of monster or something. And that's when Claw tries to shoot Brain with these lasers that he has attached to these towers at Dracula's castle. Ultimately, that's what clues Chief Quimby in that something is amiss at Dracula's castle, because from the law enforcement convention, he can see these lasers shooting off. So that's when he sends everybody up there, which is wrapping the episode up because they make the arrest of the henchman. Dr. Claw gets away, as he always does, with the whole, like, I'll get you next time, Gadget. Although I didn't really hear him say that in any of the episodes you watched. Like, but that's something I specifically remember him saying.
I think he did say it.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He said something like, I'll be back or something like that, or you'll never catch me.
I'm pretty sure in the last episode we watched, he did say it.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I do remember hearing it once and thinking to myself, there it is.
Yeah, okay. I just know it wasn't in this episode specifically, but yeah. So the formula repeats itself, and the PSA in this one is just be careful with fire. I mean, basically, like if you light a campfire and you try to put it out, make sure there's no smoke or glowing coals visible, and then you're safe to get away.
I like that one because it came out of nowhere, because it's like, the last episode, it's like, they're at Loch Ness, and then the PSA is like, lakes are deep, don't swim too far, bring life jackets. This one is all about Transylvania and werewolves and, lasers, and they're like, be careful with fire.
Yeah.
Put it out.
FYI, fire bad. It could have done a laser PSA where it's like, don't shine lasers into friends' eyes or something.
Yeah, or you'll go blind, or, you can get arrested if you shine it at a airplane.
But instead, we learned about fire. Valuable information, regardless. The last episode we watched for today's show was Gadget in Mini Madness, Season 2, Episode 7. And this was suggested by Semantics on Patreon. So thank you.
Thank you.
So in this one, we essentially just get this professor, this mad scientist, I guess, who is under the employ of Dr. Claw, who sends these little goblins, I don't know, after Inspector Gadget.
Weird Sphinx cats? I don't know.
Kind of. Yeah, I don't know what they are specifically, but yeah. And
linguinis.
That's what they're called. And then, yeah, he just has to like hide and protect himself from that.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Yeah, basically it kind of starts with Gadget driving Penny and Brain again, as every episode we have starts is him driving them around. But he gets like a call or something like that, and then he makes Penny and Brain get out of the car, and then he goes into a car wash, and Chief Quimby's head pops out of those big rolling things in the car wash that go over the top of the car. And he basically is saying, hey, Claw's going to make an attempt on your life. So your mission is survive. Like, don't die.
Basically, yeah, he puts them on lockdown. Like, go back to your Gadget lair or whatever, and just keep yourself safe.
The Gadget house.
Yeah, the Gadget house. And actually, this episode starts with Claw watching kind of a montage of Gadget's successes. That's when he's just super upset. He's like, tells Professor Doomkoff that he wants him out of the picture or else. Yeah. And so that's where he just has a briefcase with these little linguini goblins in it and sends those his way because I guess they're just kind of like, it reminds me a little bit of those dirty fairies from Dave the Barbarian, where they're just like wreaking havoc everywhere they go.
Yeah, I think they're basically supposed to be gremlins, like the gremlins.
That kind of just wreck airplanes and stuff.
Yeah, but they're called the linguinis. Yeah, and they are mad agents. They're just little tiny, strange mad agents. Yeah, basically they're supposed to come in and assassinate Gadget. But Penny, in this episode, it's finals week, guys. She's got to go to school.
They're actually local this time. Yeah. So in the first episode we watched, they were in Scotland, then Transylvania, but now they're local. And she is back at school. That's how she separates, or that's how they separate them this time, is like he has to drop her off at school, but Brain's still at home and having to protect Gadget in the same fashion.
Yeah, I love, though, that Penny was just like, okay, Brain, all you have to do is make sure that nobody goes into the house. And Brain's just like, yeah, this will be fine. The linguinis do the whole, like, get on each other's shoulders with, like, one piece of garment over them to be, like, one tall person.
Oh, yeah.
And they're dressed as a nurse.
they attack this nursemaid person and steal her garb, and then stack up on each other's shoulders, dress up as her, and then Gadget in a previous scene had like stubbed one of his fingers, like because he like slammed it in the door of his car as he was getting out to protect himself at home. And so he thinks like, oh, this nurse is at my door because she is going to help me fix my finger, and lets her in, obviously.
Immediately lets him in. Brain's just like, oh, come on. But he's a robot. Why is he experiencing pain in his finger?
He's a cyborg, so maybe he still has pain sensors.
And here's the thing I want to know. How did he become a cyborg, and what parts of him aren't robotic?
Well, for that, you're going to have to watch the Matthew Broderick movie from 1999.
I refuse. No.
Well, then you're never going to get the backstory then. I'm sorry.
Even as a child, I saw it and knew it was bad. So no, not doing this again. Why is every movie Matthew Broderick gets in, like, you know, when Matthew Broderick's like, hey, I'm an adult now, I'm going to do movies as an adult role. Why are they always bad?
I wonder if he's experiencing the same thing that Jamie Kennedy did, because really every post-Scream movie that Jamie Kennedy was in was also not great.
Yeah, it's like as soon as Ferris Bueller was over, so was his career.
Oh, man.
Ta-da.
I mean, Matthew Broderick, no hate. I still love the guy, but yeah, he's been in some real bad movies.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a swell guy. I think maybe it's time to let your agent go, bud. Maybe it's time. If you didn't learn after Godzilla, maybe Inspector Gadget was the other one you should have learned.
The nail in the coffin.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the episode. Brain is constantly trying to get these linguinis out of the house. At one point, he's able to get them, or he's able to like run them into this trap where they fall into the washer and dryer and then get hung up on the rack. And so Brain then dresses up as the nurse, who Gadget still falls for. Like I guess all his qualification is for a nurse is they have to be wearing those garbs because he looks completely different. But Gadget's still like, oh, here's the nurse. And the linguinis run back to the car where the professor is. Professor's next plan is like, okay, I'm going to dress up in this blonde wig and then ask Gadget to babysit my 5 babies while I go to the store. So Gadget's like, all right, sure. And so the linguinis are again dropped off in the house.
Dressed up as babies.
Yeah. They raid the fridge, get thrown into the sink, etc., but they've replaced themselves with these just 5 blonde dolls, which Gadget still assumes are actual babies.
Oh, boy.
And they redress up as the nurse, then have some like soap shenanigans that go on.
Yeah, Gadget was going to give the babies a bath.
Right.
He asks nurse linguinis for a bar of soap, but they present a bomb of soap.
Yeah.
But Brain is already in the tub dressed as a giant rubber duck and then opens the window and shoves the linguinis out the window with the bomb of soap.
Right.
And what I like, though, is that God, Gadget's such an idiot. He's just like, oh, I need a new rubber duck. Mine's too mean.
Yeah.
So stupid.
He gets one last chance because, Claw on the other end is like threatening him. He's like, you have to do this or else you're done for. And so he then dresses them all up as Brain and has them start destroying the yard. And by dressing them up as Brain, they just have really crude Brain outfits on, but their faces are still like sticking out of his like stomach or something.
Yeah.
And again, Gadget's just like, Brain, like, what are you doing? And tries to just like merge them all back into a single brain by just pushing them all together. Penny, like on the side, has been in contact with Brain, telling him he needs to get Gadget out of the house. So his next plan is like, okay, I'm just going to eject Gadget from the house. And then Gadget's worried because he still thinks there's babies in the house. And the linguinis are still trying to hunt Gadget down. And Gadget's trying to get back through the chimney. And, he's going through his various like go Gadget, etc. and trying to get back in. But he can't, like, it's just not working out. Like he's either expanding or getting roller skates or whatever. And eventually, the Linguinis are trying to capture Brain. Penny tells them to lure them to the bedroom. And once she does, like, she sends some of her, like, really destructive toys after them. And so that's when the Linguinis are on the run from like this laser tank and these various like demonic little toys that are these like machines that Penny has built to defend their house.
Yep. Scares the Linguinis basically out of the house, who join back up with Professor, and they drive away just as Chief Quimby shows up and again is like, Gadget, I don't know how you did it, but great job. He's just like, oh yeah, it's no problem, blah, blah, blah. The PSA for this one is to use an ice cream stick as a splint in a case of an emergency.
No, an ice cream bar for a splint for a sore finger, but in case of emergency, go see a doctor or the school nurse for anything serious.
Yes. Except, my parents missed the for anything serious, actually go to the doctor thing. So like every injury I had ice cream sticks taped to everything. Like I'd be turning black and blue in places and they'd be taping sticks to me.
You're just walking around with ice cream sticks all over?
I cannot tell you how many ice cream sticks I had taped to my fingers as a child. So yeah, that was a thing.
I guess they watched this episode and they were like, you know what? This will work.
This works. That'll save us some money.
Cheaper than the doctor. Yep.
No copay for me.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we sent our inner kids to hang out with Inspector Gadget, or really to hang out with Penny and Brain while they all protect Inspector Gadget from himself, then see what they thought of the show, Inspector Gadget.
This show is really fun because Inspector Gadget is so stupid, but Penny is kind of a genius. If I were Dr. Claw, I'd stop trying to kill Gadget and maybe start thinking about recruitment opportunities. I'll get you next time, Gadget! Next time! Ow, I hurt my finger when I did that. Does anyone have an ice cream stick?
I wasn't completely positive that joining law enforcement also involved becoming a cyborg, since my mom won't let me finish watching RoboCop for some reason, but seeing this show proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that it must be true, since I've always wanted to be a crime-fighting robot. Go, Gadget, sign me up!
What of Gadget's gadgets would you want in real life? Like, out of all the things that he can make come out of his body, what's the one that you envy the most?
Maybe the helicopter one. Like, I think flight would be real cool.
I was thinking about that too. But, like, I'm always unsure if that actually comes out of his head or if it comes out of the hat.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
You know, I'm not really sure.
I always assumed the hat, but I guess if he is a cyborg and his arms do stretch as such, that maybe it is in his head.
But maybe if it is the hat, maybe the hat's a freebie and then we get to choose something else too. He's got so many things.
Okay, if it is the hat as a freebie, then I also choose the arms. That's the more useful one. Then I wouldn't have to get up for anything. I'll just reach over, go Gadget arm, or go Gadget, what does he say? Yeah, I guess arms, and then just grab whatever I want. So it's like being Mr. Fantastic without the exposure to radiation or a meteor or whatever it was.
I kind of like the springs and the feet idea. I think that could be pretty cool. I would love having a much bigger vertical leap, you know?
I guess so, but then if you've got the flight, why have that too? That just seems redundant.
That's a pretty good point. Okay. I'll go for the laser finger then.
All right. Oh, or what about the skeleton key? That one might be good.
Oh, skeleton be cool. I could get into everything with that.
I don't know of any locks off the top of my head that I've wanted to break into, but I'll think about it.
But here's the thing. The day that you do find the one lock that you want to get into, you'd be able to do it.
I'd be super thankful for that skeleton key finger.
Yeah, exactly. So with that said, what are some of the things that you liked about this show?
For the time, I think it was really well animated and obviously had a very catchy theme song that we were touching on earlier. And I think most of all, though, what I appreciated was the range of humor that this show had. And what I mean is, like, you've got the majority of your slapstick humor with Brain, and then you've got your drier, more aloof humor with Gadget himself. And that perfect Don Adams delivery of sounding so intelligent and aware while being exactly the opposite is just the exact thing that this show needed for this character. So it's the blend of those two types of humor that are separate, but also, tied so well together is really one of this show's shining points.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that because I don't think that anyone else would have been able to pull that off. I mean, for one, the voice is just synonymous with the character now. And, it might just be because that's what we grew up with. I mean, I'm sure that's a good part of it, but it is partly because of the way he delivers the lines, the level of aloofness that the character has and displays works perfectly with the type of humor that it's trying to go for. And I don't know that another voice actor would have pulled it off in the same way, and therefore it might not have been as successful, because I do think a lot of the show's success comes down to how his lines are delivered. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's the confidence in that delivery
Yeah.
of assuming you know everything, but really knowing nothing at all. That's what made it so funny.
Yeah. And I also think that they did a really good job of knowing how to balance the characters. Because to be honest, like I usually don't gravitate towards the smart, brainy characters like Penny, but this is one of those shows where I'm like, this show would not work without Penny exactly the way she is. She is what holds everything together. And if she wasn't involved in it, it would suck. It would just be nothing but the funny and the slapstick and the goofiness, and nothing would get done.
Right. So that's what I mean. Like, I think it's just such a great blend of all of those elements. You've got your slapstick, you've got your dry humor, and then you've got your seriousness, or you've got your straight man in Penny, that all merge so well together here that no part feels, I think it would be incomplete without any of those portions, which I wouldn't normally say about slapstick. I think that's like a very like hit or miss, but in this case, it definitely hits.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think that the idea itself is great too. I mean, it isn't just that they balanced it well too. I mean, the idea that they've got this world-renowned inspector that has all these tools at his disposal that no one else in the world would have, but he's so incompetent and inept at his job, they're all useless. And I think that that's hilarious. That's such a great premise, that he should be the most capable person on the planet, and he is probably the least capable. And it really is the efforts of his niece and his niece's dog are the reason for his success. And it's just kind of coincidence that he's the cyborg inspector and has all this stuff, And I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, his ineptitude is the kryptonite to his otherwise OP Superman powers,
Yes, it's so good. It's almost like if Superman had the I don't know, the brain of like Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. Like if Superman was just like a complete buffoon idiot, but was like had to be completely guided in everything he does by, let's say like Lois Lane or something like that.
Yeah, almost Bizarro-like.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a great concept. With that said, though, are there things that you disliked about this show, or any criticisms that you did come up with?
I'll say this as a caveat more than anything. Like, I think the show was very formulaic, like we've talked about multiple times throughout this episode, as in the plot of every single episode was basically the same. So I'm going to lay it out. So Chief Quimby delivers a plot in the form of self-destructing letter. He gets blown up by said letter. Gadget starts a job. Antics ensue. Brain protects Gadget from said antics. Penny is separated from Gadget, solves the case. Quimby comes back to thank Gadget for a job well done. The PSA, and then we're done. You could use that as a template for every single episode. And I did still enjoy the show, but my caveat is that with watching it, I would do so in small chunks. Because while the formula is a great one for short viewings, I could also see it as having diminishing returns too many times in succession. 2 to 3 episodes, I think you're good. But after that, it'll start to get so formulaic. It's almost like when someone tells you the same joke over and over again, you're like, okay, like it's a funny joke, but I don't need to hear it all the time. Like space it out for me so that it's funny again by the time I hear it. So an episode a week or whatever format it was initially released in probably suited it very well. but I don't think it's one that could be binged personally.
Yeah, and I think that that's a really interesting point to bring up is that idea of, how media like this is consumed now has changed since its inaugural creation. And that back in the day, these things would come out once a week or, sometimes if that, sometimes once every 2 weeks, whatever, depending on what block you were on or what network. But, there was a lot of space in between that stuff, but a lot of shows are not like that anymore. So now when we look at these things, we have to look at them from both lenses of, this would have worked back then. If this were a cartoon that were made today, this wouldn't work. This kind of format wouldn't work out. And I 100% agree with you on everything you said. I would take it even further to you in the reused format. Even per episode, they would reuse some of their plot devices over and over within the same episode. And sometimes that really dragged on me. And I want to bring up the third episode that we watched specifically. I did think that episode was really funny. However, the reason I think it's a good episode is that constantly the linguinies get kicked out of the house and they get back in the house by disguising themselves. And it happens over and over and over. And it's like, man, I get it. Could we have done something, different? I think in those cases, it would have been more interesting of they tried something else. Okay, disguise themselves. That failed. The next time they try to get in the house, maybe they try a heist route where they start burrowing under the house with equipment. And then Brain is having to activate some other gadgets sort of in the basement or, flush them out like someone would flush out a mole with a hose or oil and a match or something like that. Just change things up rather than they literally did new costume, rinse and repeat over and over. And I think that it indicates that they knew something that was appealing about the show, but they relied on it to the point that sometimes it felt like a crutch and they didn't think outside the box. I say that still thinking that this is a great show and they did a good job with it, but I do think that that's a pretty honest criticism, is that they relied very heavily on what they knew would work and they didn't try too hard to change anything.
Yeah, so I think for a modern audience, this might work better in the 10 to 11 minute format, just so they wouldn't have to lean on those repetitive jokes to try to push the episode. And maybe that's not the case, because I did still enjoy at least the first two episodes. I felt flowed well and didn't feel too repetitive. But I think as a whole, the formula for each episode will start to wear on you if you watch too many in a row.
Yep, exactly. That's 100% where I was at. Starting to watch that third episode, it was sinking in for sure.
Yeah. So what would you rate this episode overall? Or what would you rate this series overall?
I mean, I think it's classic in every sense. It's funny, it's wholesome. It's one of the few shows I remember watching at a young age. Also that, and this is something we didn't talk about, that really has a female protagonist being a savior at the end of the day, who is also another kid. So it felt pretty cutting edge for its time. And I don't mean this as it's one of the only shows that was available that did that at the time. I meant it's one of the only shows that for me as a young boy was still appealing for me to watch. A kid that was into Batman and Ninja Turtles and Transformers and things like that. This was a show that I was still into that actually featured a young woman who was the one that saved the day every time. So I want to give him kudos for that. I think that was a pretty cool thing. So all in all, I gave Inspector Gadget 4.5 bowls of Mad Cat cereal out of 5.
This cartoon is a classic for a reason. It has a fun setup, a great cast of characters, well-balanced humor, and a theme song that I'll never forget, and a reliable, if not slightly repetitive formula. So overall, I'd give Inspector Gadget 4.5 big bowls of Wowzers cereal out of 5. And if you wanted to see the best that Gadget has to offer, I'd recommend revisiting the original series and completely avoiding the live action movies. Although, apparently Disney's working on a new live action version just called Gadget, but I haven't seen any updates on that since 2019. So who knows if it's even still in production.
Oh no, please. Come on.
what I don't like is why are they trying to make everything live action? Like, I can appreciate some things in live action, but there are also things that just won't work that way. Let things stay animated. Don't try to make it. I don't know if it's just cheaper to do it live action. I assume it is, and that's why they are pushing for that. But I've never seen an example where I'm like, oh yeah, the live action definitely is better than the animation.
No, I don't know. I mean, to me, I just assume it's all a money grab thing, you know? It's gotta be.
Generally, yeah. Or just
Yeah.
to keep the property before it expires by just producing something.
Right, exactly. Oh boy. Got 1 5-star review here on Apple. I want to read for you from Mr. Solia, who says, I'm in love with your show. Then they have a request for us to watch Big City Greens from a #1 fan. Big City Greens, I think, might be on our list already. If it's not, it'll get on there eventually.
Also, thank you to Travis W. for suggesting this episode. It was really fun to rewatch this. I still have an appreciation for it, so I'm glad it has aged like a fine wine.
Yes, thank you so much, Travis. I'm probably going to be saying Go Gadget, and then just random stuff all the rest of the week. I'm just going to be saying this all the time.
Until a helicopter pops out of my hat and or head, I'm going to say it too.
Oh, there you go. Just in case.
We'll materialize this into happening.
Yeah, just in case. Here's the thing. If you don't keep trying, it won't happen. So
exactly.
You got to try.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, it looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And next week, we'll be watching
But Ugly Martians from the very bottom of the list. And
What?
Chris may have lost the info on who suggested it. Oops.
Classic Chris.
Oopsie. Go Gadget roller skates. I'm out of here.
Is that you running away from your problems?
I'm running away from my responsibilities.
Oh my gosh, these are butt ugly Martians. It is factual.
Yeah. I saw an image of it when I looked at the list. So,
oh man, we had a good run.
prepare yourselves to prepare.
Jeez. All right, well, until next time, I'm Joseph.
I'm Chris.
We'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.